Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be digging into a very fun book, Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. This book gives quite a bit of horror themes of many different varieties to the games of D&D, as the domains of Ravenloft, but today we're going to be looking specifically at a subclass that this book gave us, a bardic subclass, the College of Spirits. The College of Spirits bard is effectively a bard that connects with spirits that tell them stories, and these stories give them new powers. Before we dive too deep into it, I want to let you know that the channel Relaxed Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can click the little join button below this video and support me in what I do here. You get a little badge next to your name showing that you're a supporter, and my undying gratitude. Thank you for what you're doing, supporting me here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. The College of Spirits Bard starts off with some interesting abilities right at level 3. First of all, you learn the Guidance cantrip, one of the best cantrips in the game. And it gets a little buff where you can cast it at a range of 60 feet. Guidance is an out-of-combat spell which provides a buff to skill checks, and you can do it pretty much infinitely, and being able to do it at range is awesome. So yeah, personally, I think that of all the classes, the Bard is the one who benefits from this the least, because they actually already have Bardic Inspiration to do this, but this is free. So 9 out of 10. Guidance is great. You also get the Spiritual Focus ability. This allows you to use a horror-themed object like a candle or a deck of tarot cards or a raven's feather or something from horror cliche that you can use as a spell-casting focus. If you do this and you use this special focus, once you reach level 6, you get to add an extra d6 to the damage roll or the healing roll of your spells, one of them. So effectively, you get to add an extra 3 or 4 to every damaging spell or heal. This is pretty much just flavor. Like, an extra 3 or 4 damage isn't nothing, but it's almost nothing, especially once you hit level 6 and above. And the fact that you can just theme your spell-casting focus. I mean, most players I know don't really think about their spell-casting focus. They just think about the spell they're casting. So to me, this is just a ribbon feature, and I give it 6 out of 10. But the final thing, and this is the main reason we're in the Spirit College, is Tales from Beyond. What this lets you do is you expend the use of Bardic Inspiration, and instead you grant yourself a story. You roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and you choose, it chooses for you on the table a bunch of different stories and tales. Each one is some sort of buff or nerf that you can give to an enemy or an ally. It allows you to have extra speed, extra temp HP, do extra damage, resist damage, heal better. Occasionally you get some powerful stuff like teleporting or stunning. The Table of Tales has some good stuff, some okay stuff, and some not so great stuff on it. The part about this is that you have to use a Bardic Inspiration just to roll on the table. So you are playing with chance here. And if you don't like the result, you have to expend another Bardic Inspiration die to roll again. So, yes, you could use up all your inspirations trying to get the result you like, or you just kind of have to roll with it. Literally, you have to roll with the punches. The other thing is that it takes your action to do. Like, you can use your bonus action to select or to let the dice select the table, the tail for you from the table, but you also have the downside that once you have the tail in your mind, you then have to use an action to make it take effect, whether it's on another creature or yourself or whatever. You have to then use your action to do it, which really adds extra steps to the bardic inspiration process. You can do it all in one turn, but then you're using all your resources that turn just to have this effect, which may or may not be helpful. I don't think this is useless. I just think that it definitely feels half-baked. Like, I'd rather just roll a bardic inspiration die and choose, or use my action to do this without burning bardic inspiration. Like in that either of those cases where I either spend my resource and get to pick, or don't spend a resource and just get this little buff for free, that'd be great. But the fact that you have to do both makes this 7 out of 10 for me. Not super great. We continue on to level 6 as a bard, and we get the Spirit Session. This allows us to perform a seance. And the seance, we have willing creatures up to our proficiency bonus that will partake, including ourselves. So at level 6, when we get this, that's 3 creatures. And you can go all the way up to 6 creatures as you go up in level. You can do this. It takes an hour to perform this ritual, and when you perform it, you get to choose a spell equal to the number of creatures that perform the seance. So that's a 3rd level spell when you first get this, and it can come from any spell list. It just has to be divination or necromancy, which aren't the greatest spell. I guess you can raise dead using this, or get scrying or something like that. Like, there's okay spells on those lists, but you have to perform an hour-long ritual to get it. It counts as a bard spell for you, so you can cast it using your spell slots and your charisma and all that. And then when you take a long rest, it goes away. You don't get to keep it. And then you have to perform this ritual again to get another spell. So, yeah. Like, this is okay for a very specific thing. Like, if you have to bring someone back from the dead and no one happens to know raise dead, and you also happen to have a proficiency bonus of 5, then you could use this to get that spell. Or some sort of very, very specific need. You have to get a spell for a day. Now you have that spell for a day after doing an hour-long ritual. It feels excessive to me. And yes, you are getting a spell that wouldn't normally be on the bardic spell list, but you only get it for the day. And then you got to do this again. Or not. You know, like, you could just not do it. How about once per long rest, like at the end of a long rest, a spirit comes to you and teaches you a spell equal to your proficiency bonus, even half your proficiency bonus. You know, a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd level spell that you just get, cast it once for free, maybe. I don't know. That would be awesome. But this just feels like excessive, and the payoff isn't that great, especially since the spell list is so limited. Divination and necromancy, not the most powerful schools. Not horrible by any means, but there's just so few things on there that you're going to want on a regular basis. I think this is a 6 out of 10. Not useless, but incredibly niche. And then finally, at level 14, you get the Mystical Connection power. And this states that when you use a bardic inspiration to roll on the Tales from Beyond table, you get to roll twice and choose the effect you want. Okay, that takes the randomness out of it a little bit. Now you get to actually pick what tale, or at least you get a better selection of what tale is more appropriate for the situation. This takes our previous, 7 out of 10 and makes it more of an 8 out of 10. Like, this way you're actually getting some selections. And because these powers typically scale with your bardic inspiration die, your die is getting higher now. So this power starts to feel a little more useful at higher levels. It's still not the most powerful thing, but it's okay. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Mystical Connection. And overall, this bard just feels strange to me. It feels like you're going through a lot of effort and spending a lot of resources for pretty minimal payoffs. I say 7 out of 10 overall for this bard. Guidance is phenomenal. Ranged guidance even better. And being able to learn extra spells and get these cool little quirky powers from the tales, it's not bad. It's just, Whether or not you're going to do that, or just use Bardic Inspiration the way that it's intended for the base Bard, is pretty much hit or miss. Like, I'm going to be using, I think in my case, I'd be using Bardic Inspiration just the normal way. At least then you know what it's going to do. It doesn't have any of these like weird, random effects. It's the kind of thing like if you enjoy playing a wild magic sorcerer, but just way less often and not as explosive, then this would be for you. Other than that, I say that this is a pretty niche pick. 7 out of 10 for the Spirits Bard. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.